Navigating today's real estate market can be tricky. Want to buy or sell a house, finance or insure a house, or stuck with a house and don't know what to do? Florida Talk Real Estate has been your local one-stop real estate shop since 2012. Get the advice you need from your local real estate pros. Here are your hosts, Jim DePola and Johnny C. Live on Real Radio.
Yeah, Saturday morning. You know what that means. That means we got 2 hours of infotainment coming at you. It's Florida Talk Real Estate. Great to have you with us. 92.1, 101.7, whether you be on the iHeartRadio app that is worldwide. And of course, we go live on Florida Talk Real Estate on Facebook. And of course, you can find us Florida Talk Real Estate LLC on our YouTube channel as well. I got a toll-free number. You just heard it from our voice guy. It's 877-927-6969. That is for your questions, comments, concerns in the world of real estate. Go ahead and pick up your phone, dial it in. We got the team assembled to handle all that and so much more. Jimothy will get you lined in, and we'll get your questions handled. I'm your boy Johnny C, your air traffic control. Let's go ahead and get you starting the lineup on a Saturday morning. The talent, ladies and gentlemen, we got Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. Good morning to you, Michael. You're muted. You're muted.
Unmuted. Yeah. Oh, talk about talent. That's some real talent right there. Was that a nickname for me, Johnny? I like that. The talent.
The talent. Well,
is there a basketball player with that name?
It was collective. I don't think so, but maybe.
Seems like a good one.
Yeah. If you're watching on either Facebook or YouTube, you're noticing some accoutrements today. It's Halloween weekend. We'll explain here very shortly. Ross Komarinetz is with us as well with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. Hello, Ross.
Hello, everybody.
Good morning to you, my friend. And let's round it out on a Saturday morning. Let's say good morning to my guy, Jimmy D. Not very formal, but I'll call him Jimmy D. You call him Jim DePola. He's a top producing Keller Williams team. In fact, that is the Florida Home Pros team there at Keller Williams Reserve Palm Beach. Good morning, Jimmy D.
Hey, Johnny, how are you doing today?
I'm all right. Why do you sound so terrible?
Do I sound? Oh, you're kidding me. I'm using the AirPod microphone today. Nobody told me that. I was asking earlier.
We wanted to surprise you. Halloween surprise.
Surprise.
Yeah. How bad is it? Is it pretty bad?
It sounds like you're on the air traffic control line.
Okay, so after the break, I'm gonna have to change this after the break. I can't do it now.
Gotcha.
Well, guess what? After 10 years, I just did a first right now. I changed the status of a listing while we're live on air right now.
Really?
Went from active to active under contract, which means pending.
Nice.
I didn't want people keep showing the property because it'll get crazy because we're already under contract. So I had to do it while I was live on the air right now.
Hey, I guess there's a first for everything, right?
Yep. I don't want to do it again because I'm afraid I'll screw it up. So Nancy's not around this week, so I have to do it.
Which
we got a lot of.
Jim?
I'm sorry.
Which property or what city?
I'm going to get into that. Yeah, I'm going to get into that in just a second, Mike.
Got it.
Okay, we got a lot to talk about today. First of all, I feel really bad because everybody else has Halloween costumes except me because I'm lame. So therefore, you must go to our Facebook page or our YouTube channel, Florida Talk Real Estate, and see what everybody's dressed up is. And I'm not going to tell anybody what characters they are or what they got. You'll have to go and watch it on the show. So Go to our Florida Talk Real Estate Facebook or YouTube channel, but we can tell you that Ross is a fire hazard. We can tell you that. And that's because Mike came up with that off air, and that was a great line. So Ross, the home insurance guy, the insurance guy, is the fire hazard out of the group. So go check it out.
Good stuff. That's Facebook and YouTube.
Ross, can you write a policy, like a one-day policy? Is that something like a kind of like an umbrella or a short term?
Yeah, we can do a special event.
Oh, nice.
Oh, you can, just for a short period of time. That's pretty cool. We're going to go through some things that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about shout-outs. We have one very interesting shout-out later on today, so you're going to want to check that out. It's the first time shout-out ever about NBA basketball. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We also going to talk to Scott about his open house today. We do have an open house. We're going to talk about mortgage rates because they're going up, 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 up. We're going to talk about Zillow. Zillow is in the news, and this is things that I was on a mastermind class with 50 other agents across the country yesterday, and they were gloating about the news that's happening with Zillow. So we're going to talk a little bit about Zillow news today. And we're also going to talk about home insurance. I'm so glad Ross is here. Man, I just keep reading headline after headline about how homeowners insurance, especially right here, we're almost like ground zero for homeowners insurance involving wind, storm coverage and things like that, and flooding. And now I'm reading articles that these price increases that we've been seeing and shocking our industry, the real estate industry, aren't going to get any better anytime soon. They're expecting, in fact, it to get more expensive than it is now. So hold on to your seats, and we'll talk about that. And Ross will give us some good tips about how to try to save the most money you can in a increasingly expensive insurance market. Sound good, guys?
Sounds great. And you can join us toll free, 877-927-6969. If you want to jump into a conversation we're having, please do. If you're not comfortable on air, always remember you can go to floridatalkrealestate.com or call 888-973-7828. That's your access to the entire team. It's floridatalkrealestate.com.
Okay, I was just about to do the shout outs and I realized that I have another. Oh no, I have it active under contract. So wanted to give a shout out to Megan and Alex. They closed on their house yesterday. They had a townhome in Boynton Beach. They got almost 5% above list price. We did it in about, let's see, how many days did it take us to do that? It took us 1 day. It was on the market 1 day. And we got 5% above list price. And that was kind of a cool story because Megan and Alex were the people that we talked about a couple of weeks ago that were doing their house for sale by owner. So what happened was Alex got a great job and he had to move from Boynton Beach and move his family up to Connecticut for a big time job that he's been waiting for. They needed to sell the house. Megan is very detail oriented. This person, I don't know what she does for a living because I never got to ask Megan, but she should be a realtor because she's excellent. As a for sale by owner, I have to give her an A-. And the only reason I'll tell you why they got the minus, but she went and did the comps in her neighborhood. She was very thorough. She staged her property really well, totally decluttered it with spick and span, marine clean, U.S. marine clean. And then on top of all that, she shot pretty good photos to present the property, put it on the market, found a buyer. Buyer gave her the price that she wanted. And then as they got close to the closing date, deal fell apart. Then they had 2.5 or 3 weeks before they were moving up to Connecticut. So then it became, oh my gosh, is somebody going to stay down here and try to resell the property and the other spouse goes up north and starts their job? Or what are we going to do? So Alex said,
Hey, Jim, can you refresh my memory? Why did that deal fall apart? Was it something on the financing for the buyer?
Yes. So thank you, Mike. And thank you. I forgot to say that. Thank you so much. What happened was the reason why the deal fell apart is the buyers were first-time home buyers and they couldn't get the financing for the house. And they didn't find out pretty far into the deal. They did an inspection. I don't know if they got to the appraisal, Mike, but the deal fell apart. And Megan was sharp enough to know that she wasn't sure it was going to close or not anyway, because she kept saying they were first-time home buyers, and she kept mentioning that to me. So they were kind of almost expecting that it might not go through, so they weren't devastated. The other thing is, what a bunch of cool cucumbers. They weren't stressed out about anything that happened. They were roll with the punches people. So what happened was Alex said, hey, instead of trying to sell the house again by ourselves, why don't we call those radio show guys and see if they can do it? And the funny part was that when I got Alex on the phone, he called me the day that the deal fell apart, right? So they knew the deal fell apart. They called the 888 number, 888-973-7828. You can call that number too, and we'll call you back, I promise. And they called the number. I'm talking to Alex. He goes, I'd really like to sell the house. I've been listening to you guys for a long time. Then I heard Megan talking in the background. So I said to Alex, is your wife in the car? And he said, yeah. And I said, can you put her on the phone? And he said, yeah. And he was a little surprised. And then Megan came on the phone. I go, Megan, I don't know if you know me, but 9 times out of 10, it's usually the husband that's calling me. And they're usually calling me because they're kind of excited because they're talking to the ZZR guys. And then the wife's thinking, what is my crazy husband doing bringing this radio show guy to come sell our house that he's never met? And she burst out laughing, and she said that's exactly what she was thinking before he picked up the phone to call me. And I said to Megan, look, Alex is telling you to give me a call because he knows me because he's been listening for a long time. Just give me the chance to interview for the job, and I'm sure you're going to feel the same way. So we went ahead and met with them. We put the house on the market, if I'm not mistaken, for about 5% more than what they put the house on the market for when they got their buyer. We got that deal cash, 0-day inspection, hours after we put it on the market. We got the full ask price, 0-day inspection. That was my first 0-day inspection in quite a while. And they closed Friday. So
Awesome.
Congratulations. They got the money in the bank. They're up in Connecticut. Everything's awesome. It only slowed them down, I think, by a week and a half because I put the house on the market so quickly. I think they called us on a Saturday, and we were out there Monday and shot the house. Thursday it was on the market. Friday it was sold. And it took about 25 days to close.
What?
So congratulations.
Congrats.
What does 0-day inspection? Is that the same as no inspection?
No inspection. They were buying the house as is, as it stands. They don't get to complain about anything. So that was a pretty amazing thing. The reason why we got the 0-day inspection, the buyer was moving from their house. They had to find something immediately. They knew this house was right. Alex and Megan renovated that house beautifully. It was like turnkey. It was definitely a Mac Daddy townhome. So congratulations to them. And by getting the extra money, we paid almost all of the commissions that they were, the reason why they wanted to go for sale by owner was because Megan's very good at what she does, but also they were trying to save money, and their attitude was, hey, I can save some money by doing this for sale by owner. But we ended up getting more for the house than what they got. So therefore the commissions were greatly offset and we didn't have a big issue with that. So
Yeah, that is a
congratulations
great shout
to
out.
them.
Yes, congrats.
Yeah, congratulations to them. A couple other things real quick. Congratulations to Tim and Karen. Last week we were promoting their condo. We had an open house with Natalie last week at the condo in Delray Beach in Sable Pines Beach. It was a 2-2 condo. I say was because it's under contract. Bye-bye condo. It's under contract. It's going to close. So congratulations to Tim and Karen. They got nearly list price. This sale, when it goes through, will be the record in the neighborhood for that size unit in Sable Pines Beach. So congratulations.
Yes.
Also, congratulations to Dane. He's selling a townhome in North Palm Beach. We just got the appraisal back this week. We broke the record in the neighborhood for his unit or smaller. Actually, we broke the record in the neighborhood for any unit in his community, and he's only the mid-size unit. There's one unit that's larger and actually sells faster and usually at high prices, but we crushed that. So congratulations to Dane. They set the record in the neighborhood. We're going to be closing, I think it's next week, if I'm not mistaken. Then we want to say, we never did this last week, so I want to say congratulations to John. This is a close friend of Johnny. John came to us because he bought his next door neighbor's house when the neighbor wanted to sell it. John picked it up. He kept it for a while. It was vacant. He thought maybe I should rent it. Maybe I should sell it. Remember, Johnny, he wasn't sure what he wanted to do. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
So we sat down with him and we said, look, if you fix the house up and you rent it, this is how much you can make per month. If you fix the house up and sell it, this is how much you can make net. Or you could just sell it as it is and you can make this amount of money. And what John figured was it was better to take the money and run. He made a super duper, I would call that a grand slam, Johnny, what he did compared to what he bought the house for. And then he sold it for many, many multiple times of what he paid for it. And he did an excellent job for him and his family. So congratulations, John, and thank you, everybody up there, for trusting us to help you either sell or buy our home.
Yes.
A couple of sports-related shout-outs, okay?
Ooh.
Want to give a shout-out to Justin in Kansas. Sorry about that. Want to give a shout-out to Justin and Candace, not Kansas, Candace. I can't go into too much details, but these are customers of Jarrett Perry from the Perry CPA Group and Player Performance First. Justin is a big-time pro baller, and he needed to buy a house in North Carolina. So who did he come to? The Florida Talk Real Estate team. What? The Florida Home Pros can help you buy a house in North Carolina? Yes, we can. We got him with a luxury agent out there. The luxury agent knew the area very, very well. We vetted that agent to make sure that Candace and Justin were getting the white glove treatment that they deserved, and they closed on their house on Thursday. So congratulations, Justin and Candace, on your brand new home in North Carolina. I hope you have many, many enjoyable years in that house. And finally, my last shout out is for Jarrett Perry from the Perry CPA Group and his newest MBA recruit, Sam Kunlit. Sam is now with the Milwaukee Bucks.
How about that?
Yeah, right now. And he just had, he's in the G League right now, but we're pretty confident he's going to move up to the national championship NBA champion teams and be on the team officially very soon. Why do I say that? Well, first of all, he was highly recruited, and the Milwaukee Bucks told the G League, hey, we're assigning our team to this player, so back off all the other teams. We want to keep this guy for ourselves. But also, he just played a game last night where he scored 15 points in 7 minutes and had a whole bunch of rebounds and some other stuff that I can't look at because it isn't on my computer screen right now. But he had an awesome game yesterday. And soon we're going to be seeing Sam, I predict, we're going to be seeing Sam on national television playing basketball, which is where he deserves to be. So congratulations to Jarrett, and congratulations to Sam, whose nickname is Sam I Am. And I love that nickname, Sam I
Yes,
Am. I
he
love
is.
that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Congrats is right. That's dream come true kind of situations right there, you know?
Jarrett has stuck by Sam for almost 3 years. Sam has gone through heck and back to try to get into the NBA. He's a super talented basketball player, but had bad timing as his best friend for much of his college career. So for him to get to this level finally is excellent, and I can't wait to have him come on our show because he has an app. This kid, he's in his early 20s. While he's trying to break into the NBA ranks, and he never gave up, and Jarrett never gave up on him when everybody else did. Jarrett just kept pushing and pushing, and I'm so proud of Jarrett and Sam. But Sam created an app on how to increase your vertical leap, and it's doing very, very well right now. And he proved on video from the time he started the regimen he created on his app until the end result that he increased his vertical leap by 6 inches in something like 60 days using this exercise routine in the app. So if you're interested in that, give us a call. We could talk to you about that too.
Man, 6 inches, I'd probably be able to dunk on a 10-foot rim.
I know.
Kidding.
Can you imagine? Imagine if he did it for 180 days, he could do 18 inches up higher than the 6 inches, right? Isn't that the way it works?
Something like that, right?
I'm thinking like he was already elite and he was able to get 6 inches.
Yep.
Johnny, you take somebody like us and we could probably get 1.5 feet following that program, right?
Well, yeah, because I have like a 2-inch vert right now, so I mean.
Yeah, exactly. You could at least jump 17 inches.
Yeah, at least. I love
or
it.
18 inches. Sorry.
Something like that. It looks like we got Scott Spainhour on hold with some details of an open house out and about today there, Jimmy D. You want to slide over and say hi to Scott?
I do. Hey, Scott, that's what was the next segment. Thank you, Johnny.
Let's go ahead and do it then. Out and about details with an open house today is Scott Spainhour, one of the amazing agents on the Florida Home Pros team with Keller Williams Reserve Palm Beach. How are you, Scott?
Hey guys, good morning. How we doing this pre-Halloween day?
Good,
right,
Scott.
buddy.
Good. Are you dressed up? And I'm the only one that isn't?
Well, I didn't figure I'd wear my costume for the open house, so I've got my business suit on for that. But there's going to be some plans for later. I was watching the YouTube live of you guys, and I can definitely, I'm not going to spill the beans, but I could definitely tell what Johnny was, and I could definitely tell what Ross was. But Mike, I'm kind of at a loss, buddy. I'm not exactly sure what that costume is.
Wow, and when you don't know what the costume is, that's a bad costume, Mike.
I don't know if that says more about the costume or more about Scott. You know,
That's funny.
I
Hey,
think it's
Scott,
pretty clear, right, Jim?
I agree. Hey, Scott. Before we talk about the open house, which I want you to get to, do you have any shout outs from this week? I can't remember.
I did not have any closings this week. I've got one that's closing next week, but I don't want to jinx that. So
Yeah, I don't want to jinx it.
Next weekend.
Okay, great. Did you take anybody else under contract or put anybody under contract this week? I forget.
I just picked up that one new listing in Boynton, but we're going to be talking about that here in a second because
I know that's yeah, that's a week ago, Scott. That's so old news. That's so 5 days ago, right? I'm joking about it. So let's go into that shout out. The Boynton Beach property. That's the one in Aberdeen, correct?
Correct. Yeah, guys, I'm going to be out today at 8337 Horseshoe Bay Road, and that is in the sub-community of Bermuda Isles, which is within the Aberdeen Golf and Country Club. And Aberdeen is one of the best-known country clubs in the state. They redid their clubhouse. They've got a Jim Fazio golf course, and they rebuilt it completely about 3 or 4 years ago. Well, I would say 3 to 5 years ago because it took them a while to get it done, but it's all completely done. And it is resort-style living at its finest. They've got the golf memberships, they've got the tennis membership, social membership, and then you've got this home, which is an amazing home. 2,009 square feet, under air, 2-car garage with a pool, and it's listed at $350,000. Now, this is a mandatory equity membership community, but man, you get a lot of amenities and stuff covered with the HOA and with the memberships. Just the HOA, for example, they paint your house every couple of years. They pressure wash you. All of your lawn maintenance is included. Your cable, your internet's included. So it's one of those kind of full packages. And we're going to be out there, guys, today from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. This is a gated community with a call box. So when you pull up to the call box, there'll be a little note on the call box that will buzz my cell phone so I can ring you in. And again, that's 8337 Horseshoe Bay Road.
8837 Horseshoe Bay Road.
You can find that on
Boynton Beach.
You can see that on our Facebook page, right, Jim? Those details are there.
Mm-hmm. It's on the Facebook page. It's on the YouTube page, Johnny. And we have some really good videos on there. So if you want to check it out, Scott did a really nice video about the property and everything and the amenities and everything. And thank you for In-House Creative for doing the videos. I appreciate that.
Awesome.
The other thing, go ahead, Scott.
No, I was just going to correct you on the address there a second ago. It's 8337 Horseshoe Bay Road.
Oh, I'm sorry, 8337 Horseshoe Bay Road. And Horseshoe is one word, Horseshoe Bay Road, okay, in Boynton Beach.
Correct.
Check it out. Don't forget to go to, when you get to the when you get to the gate, Scott's information is going to be taped to the machine. So just call Scott. He'll get you into the property.
Excellent. And that's 11 to 2 today. Is that what you said, Scott?
Yep, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Fantastic.
Thanks so much, Scott. Do me a favor, will you? Sell that house.
There it is. Scott Spanner out with details. You can catch up on Florida Talk Real Estate Facebook page. You can check it out on YouTube. Or when this show's over, you can just kind of scan right through again once it gets posted and be like, oh, okay, there's the details. That's where Scott is. Go check him out. You're going to love that home. That's a beautiful home. And it's going to make
Horseshoe Bay sounded familiar to me.
Very, very happy.
Jim, you had a listing there, right?
I think we've definitely had stuff in Aberdeen before. I don't know about Horseshoe Bay specifically or not, unfortunately. Yeah. Hey, when I was looking at the MLS today for my active under contracts, check this out. for days on market for the properties we put on the market recently.
Yeah.
For the 4 properties that are under contract right now. The one in Boynton Beach went in 1 day, which we talked about. The Tim and Karen's property, that property went under contract in 16 days from the day we put it on the market. Really, it was more like 12 days because it took us 4 days to negotiate the contract that we went into. Then we had Dane's property in North Palm Beach. We set the record in that neighborhood and blasted through the record of that neighborhood, 7 days on the market. And then we had a property in Jupiter. It's taken a little bit of time to close it, but it only took us 18 days to get that property on the market. So the 18 days out of the 4 is the longest days on market out of that group.
Wow.
That brings me to my last shout out, which is for, I'm sorry, hold on here 1 second. It's embarrassing. I got to go to the actives because it's been a crazy week. Nancy was off this week, and without Nancy, it's really, really hard.
Well, it's an opportunity for me to tell you Florida Talk Real Estate is a.com, and you can go there, access to the entire team. You can get your one-stop real estate shop. Open the door at floridatalkrealestate.com. You'll find the hotline as well. That's 888-973-7828. Answered 24 hours a day, 7 days a week by a live body, and we will get back to you very shortly after you make that phone call. 888-973-7828 or floridatalkrealestate.com.
Thanks so much, Johnny. We did put I wanted to do another shout out for Donna. Donna trusted us to list her property. We put it on the market yesterday. I know we already have showing scheduled for today because I saw my phone beeping late in the night last night. Donna has a really nice 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage, CBS single-family home in the acreage. You would be neighbors basically to Mike. I think she's 2 streets over from where Mike lives. And we have that house on the market for $400,000, which actually is a pretty good price in that neighborhood. So go out and check it out. We have information on that. I think In-House Creative is going to be putting the video live today on our Facebook page for that property. But I'd probably go out there pretty quickly based on our days on market because I just told you 18 days is the long one out of the groups that we put on the market to go out there and check it out. Okay.
Yeah, well, that and based on the pricing in that area too, I think that's gonna draw a lot of eyeballs. It
will. The house needs a little bit of tender loving care. You can move into the house right now as it is, no big deal. But people are probably going to want to do a little upgrades on the property. That house fixed up would definitely be in the high 4s to maybe even 500. And so we have it valued right to get the house moved, but it isn't like a distress sale where they have to sell it right away and it's something like that. We're just realistic about what repairs are needed for the house, put it on the market. That's how you make the most money, is you don't try to put it up too high. I just had a conversation with one of my sellers and they work in the car industry. And so they're used to car sales. So one of the famous sayings for car salesmen is, you can always drop the price, but you can't ever bring the price back up, right? So with car sales, what they want to do is they want to make sure that they get the highest price possible. And the way you do that with car sales, at least their philosophy in the car industry is, you can never make the car price go up. You're never going to list it at one price and then make it go up. You're always going to go down. So ask for the highest price possible at first and see what happens. I don't necessarily agree with that in real estate. And I actually went over this with one of the customers I met with last week, is that I showed them how many times that we put a house on the market and got more than the listing price. And the reason why we did that is because we priced it right, so that multiple people saw value in the house, value in the property, and that we would have multiple offers. And then when you have multiple offers, the cream rises to the top and you find out who's going to give you the most money and who really wants that house.
Right.
If you put the house too high, you might get less showings and fewer offers. And then when you do get an offer, it's mano a mano. It's like they come in and now you got to pull them up. right? Now you got to forcibly pull them up. Hey, I don't want your, I'm making up numbers. I don't want your $600,000 offer. I have the house on the market for $700,000. And now as a listing agent, I'm trying to pull them up. And let's say that the buyer wanted $650. Okay. They put it on the market for $700. They don't get it. It's at $600. Now we got to pull them up $50,000. If they had put the house on the market, let's say at $635 to $650, they might have had 3 or 4 offers. Some of them would have came in under what they wanted, but then we would have been able to tell everybody, hey, you're in a multiple offer situation, so bring your highest and best number tomorrow by noon. And then usually you're going to get higher than the list price, right? And then we based our list prices based on what's happening in the community. So that's, I'm giving out kind of my secrets of how you go about, not all the secrets because I have some math behind all this, but that's how we were able to break the record in the neighborhood. I don't want to say over and over and over again because I don't always do it, but I do it a lot. And I do it even when the market isn't crazy like this. So these formulas work: good market, soft market, whatever.
Yeah, we've been talking about that for a decade now, no doubt about it.
I was going to say, Jim, it sounds like, I mean, the major difference between hiring a real estate agent versus for sale by owner, then of course, even agent A over agent B, is how many eyeballs can you get on the house, right? I mean, you got to get qualified eyeballs on the house. And so you guys obviously have mechanisms, tried and true, procedures for getting the most people to see the house.
Yeah, and of course it's the team though, right? I mean, Florida Home Pros, that's the name of my team with Keller Williams, okay? So we're very good at what we do. We're up there as far as rankings with the Keller Williams group and just agents in general in the area. But what makes us different really is you guys. It's all of us working together. It's the mortgage firm and Brightway Insurance and Trident Title and all of us working together so closely all the time. And when we have questions for each other, we're there for each other. And we know we're all professionals and we try to do the right job. So if you're interested in any of our services, you're going to get the same results, whether you call Mike or me or Ross, you're going to get the same great results, people that care, looking out for your best interest and trying to do the right thing for you. And that's, and not worrying about who's going to get paid what or how that's going to work. That'll all come out with the results. So please think about giving us a call. Hey, Johnny, do you mind if we take a break now? And then on the flip side, let me just tell you what we're going to be talking about on the flip side because there's some good stuff here. Hold on.
Well, we're gonna be saying hi to Cedric for sure because he's on hold.
Oh,
so
I didn't know
we'll say hi to Cedric when we come back, and then we'll get into what?
I saw the Cedric thing, but I didn't know he was actually on the show. I'm so sorry, Cedric, for holding. I would have put you on earlier. So we're going to get you right after the break.
And then we're going to talk about what?
We are going to talk about the mortgage rates first. Okay, and then we're going to talk about Zillow, and then we're going to talk about home insurance. All
right. We got a ton of information coming at you and a lot of time remaining. You're welcome to jump on board as well. Cedric wouldn't mind the company at 877-927-6969. Of course, if you're not comfortable on air, totally understand. I'm not either. Go to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. Your one-stop real estate shop. It's your access to the entire team. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com or call the hotline 888-973-7828. We're back 4 minutes from now. Thanks for being with us every Saturday right here on Real Radio.
What's a Real Radio podcast? It's Real Radio on demand. Find your favorite show at realradio921.com.
This is former Notre Dame quarterback Brady Quinn. Here's what's trending from the iHeart Sports Network.
Presented by Staples Stores.
The Miami Hurricanes will have a tall task in shutting down Kenny Pickett and the Pittsburgh offense. But the Panthers' leading rusher and top receiver will be game-time decisions due to being in the concussion protocol. With the Florida and Georgia game set to kick off today, former Gators running back Cedric Faison and defensive back Kewan Ratliff were inducted into the Florida-Georgia Hall of Fame. I'm Adam Crowley.
Staples Connect has the tech and tools you need. Now get up to $170 off select PCs like the Lenovo IdeaPad 5i with Intel i7 processor. Explore more in-store or staplesconnect.com. In-store only offer ends 10/30, limit 2. Staples Connect, the working and learning store.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rauch from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rauch will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rauch, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
This is Real Radio 92.1 and 101.7. Real talk for the Palm Beaches and the Treasure Coast. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
Yes, toll free. That's right. If you got a question, comment, concern, go ahead and dial that up. Jimothy will get you going, get you on hold, and we will absolutely get your question handled by one of the professionals on this wonderful team. It's floridatalkrealestate.com. We call it your one-stop real estate shop. Why? Because well, we got a team of pros, and Saturdays we feature at least a few of them. Some of our favorites, sometimes some of our not so favorites. I'm just kidding. Of course, everybody on the team's amazing. But it is always a pleasure to have you with us on a Saturday. I'm your boy, Johnny C. Let's say good morning to Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing great this morning. I know we're supposed to be professionals. I don't feel very professional with this this costume on, but
you look professional. You really do. I don't even have my camera on. How unprofessional is that?
Yeah, what's going on? You had your costume. You were all lined up to make a good show. What happened?
Yeah, I got an ice pack on my face. I'm suffering mightily with sinus issues this morning. So
I thought you said the wrong thing to your
to the
Tiffany.
wifey, yeah. Yeah, she hit me with the old 1-2. No,
The old frying pan.
Exactly. No. Well, that's probably the case, but no, I didn't get hit, but I probably said the wrong thing. But it's just I think it looks better. Thank you, Jimothy. Evidently Jimothy was there last night. I think it looks better with the camera off than me with an ice pack on my face. Just a personal opinion.
I think if you had the camera on, it would bring you one of the people, right? It kind of humanizes you. You're this big radio star, and now you're just an everyday Johnny C.
Yep.
That's part of the costume.
That's right. Hey, that's the melodious tones of Ross Komarinetz with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. How are you, Ross?
Juno, that's right. Doing well. Happy Halloween or early Halloween, everyone.
Yeah, exactly. A lot of festivities going on last night. I'm sure tonight. And if you're out and about and you're gonna get involved, please be safe. Do it as responsibly as you can and take care of each other. We're all in this together. But if you have as good as Ross does, you're going to be the hit of the party for sure. Check us out.
Don't they have a name for today? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Don't they have a name for today, Johnny?
Saturday,
the day before Halloween.
Is it Hallows Eve? Yeah.
I was thinking something like, is it Mayhem Night or something?
Oh,
Purge?
Yeah. Yeah, Purge Night. That's right. Yeah, you're I think you might have nailed it. Is it Mayhem Night or I've heard that in the past. And that's the Mischief Night. There you go, Jimothy. Thank you. Yeah, that's where you go out and you egg houses and TP and what else do you do?
Nobody's sparing the toilet paper this year.
Yeah. Well, I saved all my lightly used that I was trying to sell a year and a half ago, Jimothy. So I saved all my lightly used TP for Mischief Night.
I'll make a deal with you off air.
All right, buddy. Let's say good morning to Jimmy D as well. Jim DiPolo. I always tell you he runs a top producing Keller Williams team. That's with Keller Williams Reserve Palm Beach. That's where you'll find the Florida Home Pros team. Jim DiPolo. Jimmy D, how are you, my friend?
Good morning. Can you guys hear me better now?
Much.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that. I guess no more AirPods or whatever they're called. I don't know. No more earbuds. I'm going to call them earbuds.
No more it is. Let's get to Cedric, and then we'll go ahead and jump into some really important topics for you guys. Lots of information. 2 hours of infotainment that we bring you every Saturday, 9 until 11. Of course, we'll get you up into the locker room with Jimothy and Greek and Joe. We'll be there before you know it. But Cedric's joining us at 877-927-6969. Thanks for your patience, Cedric, and welcome. You're on Florida Talk Real Estate. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing today?
Excellent, buddy.
We're doing good, Cedric. Cedric, are you the one? Because I know two Cedrics, and I was trying to think off air. Are you the Cedric that has the neighbor, or were you the one looking to buy like a condo, or maybe neither?
I'm the one with the neighbor.
Oh, the neighbor. Okay, so I have a pretty good memory.
Yeah, okay, there you go. Yeah.
Although I am willing to bet, Cedric, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I am willing to bet that the other Cedric actually has a neighbor too.
Well, that's probably true.
Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to bet.
So, Cedric, how can we help you today? What's going on?
Yeah, first, like I said, I would like to thank both you and Donnie for all your help, and also the Craft Law Group, because when I started that venture, I just went in kind of blindly. And if it wasn't for you guys and your recommendations, I probably could have got screwed royal. Because, it was a simple transfer. Like I said, I just wanted to get my name put on the deed because I was helping out the lawyer. My neighbor. So what happened was we had wrote up a contract and everything, and we were going to get inside and everything. But come to find out, when we were doing the final paperwork, one of the
lien?
Sorry.
Lien?
No. The notary public. Okay. Notary public. He went to have the paperwork signed by the neighbor,
And at the time, the neighbor was like, well, I'm not sure what's going on. I'm just going to sign the paper or whatever. And so she didn't feel comfortable signing the paperwork, make it possible for the deed to be done. So, which resulted in, we ended up having to go into the office to, work with Barbara and Madonna and crash the book.
Mm-hmm.
Find out the contract that we were trying to sign would have been invalid because the neighbor had given her brother power of attorney over all her, real estate transactions.
Okay.
Had I not went to the law office, I would have never found out that was the case, and that whole contract would have been null and void because it was executed improperly. So, over at the crash lawsuit, they caught that big mistake, which I would have made had I not, first got the advice from you guys. So, long story short, they did what was necessary, got the proper paperwork from the brother, and now I am on the deed, and everything worked out well, and everybody's fine with that. So.
Man, that's a big old disaster averted right there, huh?
And first of all, yeah, and Cedric, congratulations on getting that done. And this is just a perfect example of people that, and I'm not saying anything wrong with Cedric. This is just so common. People go, oh, I don't need the attorney. I can handle it myself. I know what I'm doing. And one of the famous things that people do is called the quit claim deed, right? It's called quit, not quick.
Correct.
Right? Some people call it the quick claim deed. It's really quit claim deed, QUIT. And what that basically says is it's a document that basically holds somebody harmless, basically. It's basically saying, like, let's say I owned a house right now, right? And for some reason, I wanted to go to Mike, and Mike has no attachment to this property necessarily. He could sign a quick claim deed that says, hey, I've never done anything to damage the ownership rights to this property, and I'm releasing any rights I have to that property, even though he might not have any rights to the property at all. Or you could actually own the property and offer the quick claim deed to somebody else to transfer the rights over to them. But if you don't do it properly, it won't be recognized by the state of Florida as a legal transfer of the property. And that's what could have happened. Two things could have happened to Cedric. The first thing that could have happened is he wouldn't have known any better, went through, let's say he wanted to buy the property at some point. He wouldn't have been able to do that because of the glitches that Paul found out about, because of the power of attorney, because the owner now is not the legal signer for the transfer of the property. It's the power of attorney, the brother. Or later on, the brother could have tried to take full claim of the property as the power of attorney, and there might have not been a lot Cedric could have done about it at that point. So by bringing it to the attorney to find out all those problems, all those issues, and then solving those issues, now it's rock solid. Cedric knows what his rights are of that property. The owners, the co-owners of the property know what their responsibilities and rights are to that property. And they know that if they ever need to transfer the property or sell the property or get a mortgage on the property, that they're going to be able to do it. And nobody's going to come out of the woodwork and go, it isn't done correctly.
It's, a lot of people have a question, Jim, like, what do we need the settlement agent for, right? Why do we need a company? Why do we need title insurance? Like, you get those questions a lot in real estate closings. Fortunately, when you're doing a mortgage, you have financing, it's required, right? Like, your lender is not going to give you any choice. You have to do these things. But that's the reason that title search, examiners exist. That's the reason that title insurance exists, is because of, this situation. They could have executed that quit claim deed if that neighbor hadn't have got cold feet at the time. They could have executed it. It could have been recorded with the county. Everybody goes on their way, and nobody ever knows until Cedric tries to do something with his interest in the home, sell it or otherwise encumber it, and then all of a sudden he's got a problem, and he doesn't have the ownership that he thought he had, or
Nope.
whatever happened. Right. So Yeah, it's a
problem. I would have been at the biggest problem. I would have been out of the money I had invested in the property to help save them from their situation.
Yeah.
That would have.
It's and it does. I probably, Cedric, I don't know if you want to say exactly, but it probably did not cost very much to have the involvement of the professional, right?
Well,
to make sure it happened.
Well, basically, I invested about $11,000 into the whole deal. So if it had went wrong, that would have been my whole $11,000.
Right, but how much roughly, without exact numbers, just to give the public an idea of what they're talking about? That's what Mike's saying. Like when you went to the law firm, the Krasker Law.
When I went to the law firm, that cost me roughly around, I'd say $700.
Yeah, hundreds of dollars for a house transfer. Hundreds of dollars, right? Yeah. So it's so worth it. Didn't you feel like it was worth to have an attorney overseeing everything and knowing exactly what should be done?
Definitely.
Yeah. So don't get afraid when you hear attorney in real estate law. You know, people get freaked out and they automatically think thousands and thousands of dollars, and it isn't like that at all. Attorneys can only charge so much. There's a lot of them out there, just like any profession. So they can't charge crazy price if not everybody else is charging a crazy price. So a lot of the customers that go through the Krasker Law for student loan modifications and the advice that Cedric need about transferring property, solving probate issues. I'm not saying the probate itself, but solving estate or probate issues that weren't handled properly the first time. A lot of that can be solved for very reasonable prices, considering the risk that you have if it isn't done properly.
Exactly, and that included a title search as well. That price, so it was with the transfer fee and the title search, which found out there were no other liens on the property. So that was very helpful because that would have been another surprise to me. So.
Well, I'm so happy that it worked out, because the last time I think we talked, Cedric, was in July. So I'm really, really glad to hear that everything worked out. It makes me feel very good. And I also want to say, because I don't want to disclose over air, but you're doing a really good thing for that family. And they're very blessed to have you as a neighbor, because I don't know if everybody would have went through all the machinations you did in order to help the person that's living there. And you'll get a benefit in the long run, which you're going to greatly deserve. And but right now, everybody's taken care of and protected, including you and the homeowner. So that's just awesome. You just made my Saturday.
Yeah, that's a great phone call. So glad you made that call today, Cedric. Good to hear from you too, by the way. I'm with Jimmy D. It's been I know time goes right on by, but it's been a little while.
Yeah. Had a couple of other unrelated issues going on as well, but I finally got a chance to call, because remember, I'm a driver, and a lot of times I'm actually driving down. I'm on my way home, and a lot of times I wasn't able to make that call, or I would miss the radio show by a couple of minutes because of other reasons. But I said, I'm gonna do it this week.
Nice.
Well, thank you so much, and happy Halloween.
Yeah, safe travels. Enjoy your weekend, and so glad to hear that things worked out.
And I definitely recommend this group to anybody out there searching for a house, looking for a house, trying to sell a house. I would call anybody out.
Thank you so much, Cedric. You have an awesome weekend.
That might make a commercial one day, Cedric, just so you know. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Safe travels again. Have a great weekend. 877-927-6969. That's toll free. That's the exact number that Cedric just dialed, 10 minutes ago or so. And he got on the air. He didn't have a question. He didn't have concerns. What he had was comments about how thrilled he was that he went to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com, that he listens to this show, that he picked up the phone and called 888-973-7828. He had some issues that he was hoping we could help him out. And you know what? Turns out, as you just heard, worked out pretty well for him. It was very much a worthy phone call. We had to move some things around for him, but he got the desired outcome. And you can too. Buying a home, selling a home, stuck with a home, you don't know what to do. You need to get a refi, shop some property insurance, get a home loan, look on some student loan debt. That could be the one determining factor on whether or not you can get a home or not. You can have access to the entire team at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. That's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you. Just another great success story. And anybody that has any kind of legal issues, probate, estate planning, you have a situation about clouded title and you can't do something with the property that you want to do. You're thinking about buying an investment property at the tax auction and you want to make sure that it's completely clear and unencumbered of any debt. You got to give us a call because we'll get you over to Krasker Law. Okay, that's KraskerLaw.com.
Hey, Jim, real quick, that's like a great story with Cedric where he talked to you to get advice. I talked to Cedric at some point, right? So there was this is like a simple kind of transfer of ownership without all the details. That's what was happening. And you talked to him, I talked to him, and eventually we were both just like, hey, make sure you get the proper legal advice and you can make this thing happen. And it did. And so just a good story. We talk to people, we give them advice, right? I'm not doing a loan for them. You're not doing a real estate sale or purchase.
No.
And
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. We're just here. We're the number one information provider about all things real estate in Florida. So give us a call. And out of state, like Justin and Candace know, we just helped them close a house in North Carolina to a city I never even heard of before. I met Justice and Candace, but we got him through. Let's say he won, but we got him at the. What we did is we got him with the pros, like we're the pros down here, and make it happen. So just give us a call. We don't bite. 888-973-7828. And Johnny, what's the hotline that they can call live on air?
On air, pick up your phone and dial 877-927-6969. If you're a Real Radio listener on the regular, that's that phone number that's been with this radio station forever. 877-927-6969. Jimothy will line you up. We'll get your questions, comments, concerns, and so much more. You want to do a little reset, Jimmy D?
Yeah, we're going to do a little reset on the flip side. We're going to be talking about mortgage rates right at the top of the hour, of course, unless somebody calls in live. And then we're going to get into homeowners insurance and trying to get some tips for Ross about dealing with buying a used home in today's market. We're going to talk a little bit about that, Ross, like what people should think about. Okay.
Excellent. All right. So Florida Talk Real Estate is your one-stop real estate shop, and you got that as a .com. We're on Facebook as well. We go live every Saturday for our 2 hours of infotainment on our Facebook page and our YouTube page, as well as on the radio, 92.1, 101.7, and worldwide on your iHeartRadio app. If you're on Facebook or YouTube, check out the details of an open house coming up about an hour from now. Scott Spainhour is going to be in Boynton. Get the details of that beautiful home there on Horseshoe Bay. Is it Horseshoe Bay, Jim?
Yes.
Yeah.
8337 Horseshoe Bay Drive.
Yeah, in Boynton.
In Boynton Beach.
Get the details. That's Facebook, YouTube, Florida Talk Real Estate. And definitely thank you very much for being with us on this Saturday prior to Halloween. We call it All Hallows Eve, or I guess we determined it's Mischief Night. It's Mischief Day right here. It's Florida Talk Real Estate and Real Radio.
Tell your smart device to play Real Radio 92.1 on iHeartRadio. Go on, tell it. Show that damn thing who's boss.
I'm meteorologist Zach Covey. We'll have temperatures in the lower 80s for Palm Beach County and the upper 70s for the Treasure Coast through the weekend with ample sunshine, a bit breezy at times.
This report is sponsored by Lowe's. Make your holiday twice as nice, twice as merry at Lowe's. With everyday low prices on pre-lit artificial trees starting at $99 and Christmas lights at $2.98. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. While supplies last, valid 10/28 through 11/3.
Hey, it's your boy Johnny C here, host of Florida Talk Real Estate. They're tops when it comes to helping people buy and sell houses. But Florida Talk Real Estate is so much more than that. For 5 years, I've watched these guys help thousands of our listeners with any real estate need. They couldn't do it without their sponsors, who are experts in their fields. Check it out. Jim DePola, powered by Keller Williams Realty. Their team specializes in helping people sell their house for top dollar, and buyers get great deals on the purchase of their home. That's what they did for me and my family, and I couldn't be happier that I hired them for my real estate transaction. Mike Rauch from the mortgage firm is one of our favorite guests on the show, and he is the mortgage guy. Whether you're looking for a refi or a mortgage to purchase a new home, Mike Rauch will get you the answers you need. The mortgage firm is licensed to do loans in Florida, Alabama, Tennessee, and Georgia, and they have local offices that cover all of South Florida. So if you're thinking about a refi or a new mortgage, go to the mortgage guy, Mike Rauch, and find out what he can do for you. The Mortgage Firm, Inc., NMLS 189233, Florida license MLD 78, equal housing lender. The law office of Paul A. Krasker has been specializing in real estate law for nearly 25 years and has the professional team you need. Upside down with your house, Paul's team can help you conduct short sales, loan modifications, even if you're behind on payments. They also help you with foreclosure defense and bankruptcy. They can even help you get a student loan modification and repair your credit to get the score you need. Paul's full-service team has helped thousands of our listeners, and they can help you too. Trident Title LLC is the largest privately owned title company in Florida. When you need a title company to complete a refi, home purchase, or sale, Trident Title has got you covered. Not only do they offer competitive pricing, Trident Title has attorneys on staff to make sure if you have bumps in the road declaring title that you can get the job done. Beware, not all title companies in Florida have attorneys on staff. Trident Title does and complies with all the new federal regulations released last year. Ross Komarinetz, owner of Brightway Insurance, has been helping our listeners get great rates on homeowners insurance plans. Haven't checked your homeowners insurance policy in a while? This is a great way to help reduce your monthly mortgage payment. Ross can also help with renters and auto insurance. Ross is only a phone call away and can usually get the answers you need same day.
Call Ross today at 561-425-6228 or drop by his office at 873 Donald Ross Road in Juno Beach.
So now you know why I'm happy to be part of the Florida Talk Real Estate Show, the longest running real estate show in Florida. And all these sponsors are just a phone call or a click away. Just call 888-973-7828. That's 888-973-7828. Or go to floridatalkrealestate.com. That's floridatalkrealestate.com. And don't forget to use the most accurate search engine to find your new home or ask for a free home valuation because floridatalkrealestate.com has you covered. That's floridatalkrealestate.com.
This is WCCR FM, West Palm Beach, Real Radio 92.1, powered by the law offices of Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Been in an accident? Call 1-800-747-FREE. That's 1-800-747-3733. This is Florida Talk Real Estate with Jim DePola and Johnny C. Got a question for the show? Call us live at 1-877-927-6969.
That is your toll-free number, and you're more than welcome to join us. In fact, we invite you. The red carpet is out. Love to speak with the folks and make sure we can get your questions handled, get your comments absorbed. And if you'd like to be a part of the show, go ahead and just do it. It's 877-927-6969. If you're not comfortable on air, that's cool. You can always reach the team. Have those conversations off air at 888-973-7828. You will find that hotline at floridatalkrealestate.com. It's your one-stop real estate shop. I'm your boy, Johnny C. Good morning to Mike Rauch, the mortgage guy from the mortgage firm. How are you, Michael?
I'm doing great. Good morning to you. Good morning, South Florida and Facebook audience and YouTube.
Yeah, everybody, that's right. Good to hear that you're doing well, and thank you for dressing the part for Halloween. If you're not watching on our streams, Facebook or YouTube, you're missing out. You should check it out. Speaking of dressed up and looking awesome, Ross Komarinetz with Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach. He has won the costume contest today. Hello, Ross.
Good morning, everyone. When are we going live on TikTok?
Right?
I don't even know what TikTok is.
On
really.
Twitch.
It seems the kids like it.
Oh, boy, do they. My gosh. Not dressed up today, but always looking like a superstar, ladies and gentlemen. It's my guy, Jimmy D. Jim DePola, he runs a top producing Keller Williams team. That's Keller Williams Reserve Palm Beach. That's the Florida Home Pros team that he's running. Jimmy D, how you be?
Hey, I'm doing pretty good, Johnny. Happy South Florida, everybody. Happy Halloween. I was on a training class yesterday, and somebody put out, because I'm in a class right now where we're doing 100 videos in 100 days. So please go to our YouTube channel, Florida Talk Real Estate, and like it, subscribe to it, and hit that little bell button so that you can know when our videos come out.
And thank you to everybody that's done that already. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yes, and please keep doing that. It does give me a benefit in the fact that we're trying to get the most subscribers during this 100-day period. And also, it does help with YouTube and Google letting other people know about our site because you like them too. Like the videos. So we have a bunch of stuff, a bunch of videos floating around out there. You got to go check them out. Some of them are as short as like 1.5 minutes, and some are up to like 8 minutes. Go check it out. I think I did one a couple of weeks ago called the Poopy Pool, and the new one I think is called the Pee Situation. And I promise that'll be the last of the bodily function stories related to real estate. But if you want to check out,
you don't have a vomit one?
No, I don't have a vomit one, and I hope I don't. I hope you don't jinx me. And now I have a vomit story next week, Ross. Okay.
It is Halloween. Do you have a pus story?
No,
blood, you got blood.
But I do have a scary Halloween story, kind of. I'm kind of joking about this, but here's a scary story. A couple of days ago, I'm getting into my elevator in the condo I have, and my keys dropped down the shaft in that slot between the transition and the building, and it fell down, and all the keys, my office keys, my car clicker, my front door key, my mailbox key, other people's keys I have that trust me with their key, all gone, fell down the shaft.
Only you, Jimmy. I swear that could only happen.
I was looking. The funny part is it fell, and for personal reasons, I couldn't bend over very quickly. So I see it sitting there just hanging in the transition. And then the car clicker was hanging below the rest of the keys, like in the slot already. It had already fallen in the slot. And I was reaching down to grab it. The weight of the car clicker just sucked all the keys down. And then I heard it going clink, 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 and then, hit the ground.
That's so terrible.
That was not a bad day.
Why is that gap so big? You might have a lawsuit there.
Well, the funny part is that at least it was when I was coming back to the condo instead of leaving because I didn't have anything to do. I was done, But then I had to go to the front desk and say, "Hey, I got a interesting one for you." And he's like, "What?" And I go, "I dropped my keys down the elevator shaft." And he looked at me and goes, "I've been here 20 years and that's never happened before."
That's never happened. And you know what? It's never going to happen again.
Well, I don't know because yesterday I caught myself holding my keys in the hand as I'm walking in the elevator. And I'm like, I got to keep these in my pocket until I get off the elevator.
This one takes like I like this one better. Didn't you throw stuff in the garbage chute?
Oh yeah, I took my whole wallet a couple months ago. Took my whole wallet and threw everything, all my credit cards, everything. Was it something else, Johnny? I think it was my wallet, right? And
I think it was too.
Yeah, it was my wallet, but all my credit cards, debit cards, everything, my driver's license, health insurance cards, everything. Just threw it away in the garbage. Just threw it away. Yeah. And I realized, and I realized a couple of days later, and there was no way I was going in the dumpster to look for it because it was gone because they had already taken the dumpster away by the time I realized. So that was a weird one too. Thank you for reminding me about.
Oh that. Yeah, so that is a weird one, but that's like I don't know. You sometimes you can just get a little forgetful. You were busy. You were multitasking, and we all know that nobody does that well. And you just went in the trash, and lo and behold, it's gone forever. This one surpasses that in my mind because there's like an involvement. You're like, no, like there's don't fall down the thing.
It was totally slow motion. It's like, oh,
Yeah, the other one you have days of going, where's my damn wallet? Like that's fun, but not great. This one you're like, oh no, that's terrible. And I love the reaction too. I laughed when you told me. I hated laughing, but I did. If you're watching on Facebook, Ross loved that story. And it's not that we want bad things to happen to Jim, but it's just so perfect. Like Mike said, that only happens to Jim DePola.
Only Jim.
Only 20 years, it's never happened.
Ever.
Right, 20 years ago. But they
I mean, if you imagine the amount of times people, the amount of people that live in that building and have gone in and out of that elevator over 20 years.
And they all have keys, all of them.
I know, it's crazy. But I did get them back. They called the elevator company and I got my keys back. So
Did you ask for a key to the elevator shaft?
Yeah. No, they actually had to call the company because they're not allowed down there. They had to call the company. Company had to come out.
I have a challenge for the team. Next Saturday, I want to see if we can squeeze in the word shaft more than we did in the last 10 minutes.
Now I'd be willing to bet it's not the only thing that's fallen down there. So I wonder if they found anything else while they were looking for your keys. Like did they find quarters and gum wrappers and candy and that type of stuff?
I know exactly, right?
Your wallet.
So the other thing I wanted to say about Halloween. Oh my God! 6 years in a row. 6 years in a row, audience. Come on, Real Radio listeners. I'm so disappointed again for my 6th year of begging you guys. Give me a haunted house to sell. Just give me one. I'm not asking for a dozen.
I was wondering if you were going to bring it up. I really was wondering if you were going to bring it up because it feels like such a sore subject to me. I thought about it in the shower this morning. I'm like, I wonder if Jim mentions the thing that they've never come through for.
Jim,
it's kind of like Dano with what kind of fish?
Catching a bonefish, right?
Yeah, the bonefish, right?
But he doesn't quit. I get it.
I saw something. It was some celebrity came across, one of the news feeds or whatever. Got a haunted house. I forget what it was, but I don't remember ever that being like a big thing, like haunted house thing, until I think you might have started a trend, Jim, of people looking for real estate related to haunted houses.
I have to get a referral fee for all those other agents that have gotten haunted houses and I have not. I'm so bummed out because I am so qualified to sell a haunted house compared to all those other agents. Because I'm talking about it before. All those other agents happen to get a haunted house. I'm looking for one.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm looking for a haunted house. And I promise if you have a good haunted house, and I got vetting, okay, you're going to be vetted. But if I get a good haunted house, I promise I'm going to give you a deal to sell that house. You're going to get a deal you can't refuse because I got big plans on selling that haunted house. So please, if you got a haunted house, I don't care if it's Halloween. I don't care if it's July. I don't care if it's Christmas. Pick up the phone and say, Jim, sell my haunted house. That's what I'm looking for. Just one. I only need one.
Do we know if there's any legitimate haunted houses down here?
I don't know. I told you at one point I got so obsessed I started calling paranormal groups down here. Don't you remember that?
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I started calling the paranormal groups because I one day I was watching one of those ghost hunter shows, which I never watched those shows at all. And then I was like, I wonder if there's paranormal groups in Florida. Dummy. We're in Florida. Of course you're going to have paranormal groups down here. I start checking. There were dozens and dozens of those paranormal groups, the ghost hunter groups down here. So I started calling them up. And I should have just recorded videos on that because the conversations I had with those people.
Jim, I think you need to get in. You need to start calling the psychic readers around town.
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, call the psychic readers.
The crystal ball. I mean, they must have a lot. You combine that with the you cross reference the psychic reader customer list with the obituaries, and I'm sure you can figure out.
Yeah, you try to figure something out.
Yeah, you can. You can.
That'll be my next thing. All the obituaries, I'll start calling them. Hey, is your house haunted?
Yeah.
Hey, is your house haunted?
I'm sorry for your loss. Did they pass away in the house or?
So no haunted house for me again this year. And I got the whole thing in my head. I know how the whole thing's going to work. I got it.
It's not too late. You got today and tomorrow, technically, I think.
Well, this is the frustrating. This is the frustrating part for me, Jimmy D. I'm sorry. Is you may have sold many haunted houses. You just didn't know it because you didn't get to experience the phenomenon. You didn't see anything happen. So, like, you may have accomplished this dream time and time again, just never had the full experience.
I know. It's funny, when I was a reporter for the Sentinel, I covered the city of Boynton Beach for a very short period of time. And there was a restaurant down there that's very well known down there, and they have excellent food. So every time I'm in Boynton, anytime I'm in this area, I always stop by for the Rauch shrimp. I love their Florida Rauch shrimp. But if you go over there, it's Hurricane Alley in Boynton Beach. And Hurricane Alley opened up in 1995 or something like that. And it was the first restaurant in the downtown area in quite a while. And she took a big risk because Boynton Beach doesn't really have a downtown. But she first started out as a breakfast joint, and then it turned in later into a full service restaurant bar and with outdoor dining. Really nice place. You guys should go out there and check it out, Hurricane Alley. But when it was a little breakfast joint, the building itself that she's in is like 110 years old. So the next door neighbor to her was a little consignment shop, and they swore that it was haunted. And they said when they did research, they found out that there was a kid that might have died down this little room many, many decades ago. And they thought that the kid was still haunting the consignment shop. So I said, well, where is this room? And she goes, well, it's closed off. And I said, well, where is it closed off? And she showed me. So she showed me this wall, and I was trying to convince the Sun Sentinel to agree to pay to rip out the drywall and everything in the plaster to get into the secret room to find out if it was really haunted or not. And I wanted the Sentinel to pay for the demolition and then the repair to put it back. And they didn't want to do it. So
weren't having it.
We never found out. If the little kid was still in there or not.
Wow.
So anyway, if anybody has a haunted house, I don't care what month it is, just call me, please. Somebody in Florida have a haunted house. Just call me one time.
Jim, you just reminded me of that. Liberty Mutual has these commercials going, and there's the one where he's got like in the helicopter with the email or whatever, and then they back to reality. You're not getting a helicopter, right? Like, no, exactly. Jim, we're not funding your soul searching.
I remember when we first put this out in 2015. I even remember what year it was when we first started this, because Ross was on the show with Mike and Johnny, and I didn't tell anybody I was going to talk about this on the show, and you guys didn't believe me.
I remember rolling my eyes.
Yeah, you guys were all like, and then you guys actually told me off air, Jim, I don't know if I would talk about this on there. You might turn off the audience or whatever. And I was thinking, I don't care. I want the haunted house. I want my haunted house. So no haunted house yet. So come on, guys, help me out. Speaking of horror stories, let's talk about mortgage interest rates.
Oh, no. Wait a minute. Why are you doing this to me? I'm about to be a buyer.
I know, right?
You should have done horror with insurance because.
Well, it's a spooky show. This is the spooky show.
It's a theme, yeah. It's a theme.
So interest rates, I'm kind of joking. Interest rates went up, though, again. Okay, so they've been going up since, hold on here. Well, that really hasn't been that long. They've been going up since August 19th. Okay, which was 286 back on August 19th, right? We're at 3.14 right now.
Okay, well, we all want the best interest rate we can get for sure, but I'm going to say good. I'm glad to hear we're still going up.
Yeah, so the interest rates are up. We're up. We were 3.09 last week. We're at 3.14. That is pennies on your mortgage payment. Okay, difference. So it isn't like a big deal. But just to put this in perspective, back in April was when we were at a rate around this, around 3.14. We're at 3.13 in, I'm sorry, no, it was June. Okay, so, no, I'm sorry, I'm going back wrong.
April 1st, Jim, 3.18.
Yeah, 3.18 in April 1st. April 8th, we were 3.13. So we were hanging right around here in April. Then we started going back down, but then we started going back up in August. Now, just to put it in another perspective, if you will, in June of 2020 is when the last time, besides April of this year, you had to go back to June of 2020 to we're at this kind of rate, 3.13, 3.14. The rest of it was all below where we are right now. So we're on the higher level of the low rates, if you want to put it that way, because 3.14, guys, come on. When Eisenhower was president and he set the mortgage rates in the 1950s, okay, for a 30-year mortgage, it was above 4%. That's Eisenhower, okay? Some people are going, Eisen who? Right? That was the president of the United States who's also a famous general, okay? But that's how far, you know, so these rates are extremely, extremely low still. So, Mike, that's what I want to ask you about. Is it still a good time to refi, even though the rates have been scooting up in the last couple of weeks? What about locking in if you're a buyer? What kind of advice can you give people about when we're going through these increases? And the increases aren't shooting up like crazy. We're talking about little bits each week. So how do you handle that?
I think if you're considering a refinance, you know, I always do some number crunching to make sure it makes sense. But just to give you an example, like, you know, November 2018, Jim. So if you bought towards like the second half of 2018, that number was 4.94, right? October of 2019, the number was 3.7 something, right? So we're still like 2020 was an aberration of a year. And so we're still below where we were even 2 years ago and well below where we were 3 years ago. So if you bought in those time frames, or if you bought with say an FHA loan that has mortgage insurance probably for the life of the loan, yeah, I mean, it's still really potentially attractive to look at refinances, right, with some caveats. So, you know, is it higher than it was this time last year? Yes. Right. Is it higher than it was in this summer? Yes. But there's still maybe an opportunity for you. And if you've been thinking about it, right, if you've been bombarded with advertisements about it, a lot of people get stuff in the mail, then yeah, I think it's still a good time to refinance. How long will that last? I don't know. I can't predict what it's doing, but if you've been thinking about it, whether it's to tap into equity or simply get yourself into a lower monthly payment, or, you know, pay the least amount of interest over the life of the loan, it's worth investigating for sure. As far as buyers go, you know my philosophy on it, Jim. Like, you buy when it makes sense for you and your family to buy. So if you know, and rates are still low. So Johnny, you know, sorry bro, you missed you know, a tick up from last week to this week, but right, you're still like threes, right?
Yes.
Low threes, low
Yes.
threes. You know what I mean? And so it's you're still going to be super, super happy with your rate over long term. And it could be, Jim, if you're doing a loan now, you might never refinance that loan, right? If you're doing like a standard conventional loan, this is the type of loan and the type of rate that you would almost never refinance out of unless you wanted to tap into equity or something like that. So yeah, definitely still we're benefiting from these low rates, and you know, money is still cheap. So yeah, I mean, simple as that. Yes. The answer is yes. Still a good time for refi, still a good time for buyers as far as mortgage rates go.
And I think always a great time to pick up the phone or go to FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. What you get there is access to the entire team. It's your one-stop real estate shop. You get pros like Mike Rauch, who was just talking about these interest rates. What I love, and I've experienced the refi consultation personally. I've been through it several times with Mike prior to doing a refi. What I love is the breakdown, the time spent to give you the understanding on whether this makes sense, if it makes dollars and cents, right? There's a break-even point with every one of these refis. And Mike wants to break down, wants you to know your numbers and your desires and your plan. If you're in a home and you're planning on selling in 2 years, it might not make any sense to do that refi. It might, the cost of the refi, you're probably not going to recoup it. Mike's going to lay that out and explain it to you. Or it might make sense. That valuable information. Look, I'm sure you can get that from other direct lenders. I'm sure. I just know specifically if you talk to Mike, I know the white glove treatment you're going to get, and with Ross, the detail and the time spent to give you the understanding is remarkable. It's FloridaTalkRealEstate.com. 2 times, not once but twice, Mike. My numbers weren't right, and you were like, if you have to do it now, we're going to do a HELOC. I can't do it for you. You were saying, look, your best option is something I can't do for you.
Yeah, I mean, even Timothy, we had that conversation, and he ended up using the HELOC at the time. And I don't know if my approach is super unique. I know it's certainly different than if you call some of these national guys that are really just interested. Like that refi conversation, if you call one of these advertisements that is sent to you, is going to be, hey, let's take your information, let's get the loan application going. Here, rate, dazzle. They don't spend a lot of time on the should you refinance question. So I just feel an obligation to people, because that's just how I operate, is to really kind of explore that should you refinance before you get to the can you refinance. And so that's just as important for me. And yes, I talk I probably talk myself out of business sometimes, but I just don't want to do it if it doesn't make financial sense.
Well, we entice you by telling you that you could save money. You can change your next 20 years, 30 years with your obligation on your mortgage. Others use other tactics like, you can pay off debt, use the equity in your home to go on a vacation. That's not a tactic we're going to use, because Mike's rarely going to suggest that you use that equity frivolously. He's gonna really want to know what you want to do. If it's a cash out, what are you doing the cash out for, right, Mike?
Yeah, I'll give you a really good example of that. I get a lot of people, because it kind of depends on what your goal is, right? So I get some people who want to do debt consolidation and include a car loan, right? An installment car loan in there that's like a 4 or 5 or maybe 3 years left. And when I see that, I just know financially, even though the interest rates are really low, and yes, your monthly payment is going to go down pretty significantly, you're taking that 3-year car loan and turning it into a 15 or 30-year obligation. So it doesn't matter how low the interest rate is, you're simply going to pay a lot of interest on that car. Sometimes if the goal is like, hey, we're just really, really tight, I got to consolidate debt, I can't afford all of these debts, then it's like, okay, well, here's an opportunity. You can't do that. But, I ask those questions. I do that type of analysis. So.
And Ross is like that too. Ross from Brightway Insurance, Juno Beach, the only Brightway Insurance office as far as we're concerned.
Juno.
They should be national headquarters. So Ross is just like that too. Very low key, very upfront and direct. Gives you the information super quick. And then he says, go ahead and shop it around. It's a very tough market right now, so he knows that people want to save money, and there's no problem with shopping it around. And he just tries to give you the best deal. The trick with just like with mortgages, the trick with buying insurance policies is to make sure you're comparing. My advice to spin it for both of you guys is to the consumers, to tell them, make sure you're comparing apples to apples, whether you're dealing with the mortgage or the insurance policy, because the bottom line number doesn't necessarily mean you're getting the same exact coverage or the same exact pricing on your mortgage and your mortgage terms. The terms might be different, and it looks like you're getting a better deal, and you might not be. So just be really careful, and that's what I love about Mike and Ross. You don't have to worry about that stuff with them at all. They're just going to be straight up and try to help you out.
Absolutely.
Johnny, how many times do you talk to people that say, I've already talked to Ross. When we're trying to say, hey, have you checked your insurance? So it's just very powerful to have that tool at your disposal.
It really is, yeah. And the willingness to kind of have conversations and follow up. Like you said, you got to compare apples to apples, especially when it comes to your policy on your homeowner's insurance, because Ross will tell you, I've heard him tell people, like, look, you probably just call your current and adjust your policy to this, and they'll probably get you with the price you're looking. And again, that's kind of like Mike said, you're almost talking yourself out of business, but that's that straightforwardness you get with the Florida Talk Real Estate team. Honest, depiction of your situation, what they can do for you, and just give you the tools to decide what's going to be best for you moving forward. FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
I just want to wrap up this segment. Just every time we start talking about whether you should refi or not, I always think of that one customer, Mike. We sold his house in Lake Worth it was probably 2018. And he was a veteran, and he was a retired vet. And by the time we met with him, he was a huge fan of the show. And when I sat down at the coffee table with him to go over the listing, he had refied his house 3 months earlier. And then I found out that he had refied the house about 6 months before that. And he had done another refi within a year before that one. So in 18 months, he had done 3 refis. And then came to me 3 months after the final refi and said, I'm ready to sell my house.
Yeah.
He sucked all of his equity out of his home.
That's the problem.
He sucked
in origination fees.
Yeah.
Not just like taking any cash, just in origination fees.
Exactly. And I actually wanted to see if I could file a complaint against the loan officer because I felt like there's a word. I didn't even know this word existed. It's called churning, mortgage churning. And I didn't even know, I never heard of that word before. If I did, I didn't remember it. But then I saw this real life example, and I'm looking at this Vietnam veteran who's older, has no other form of income other than his fixed income, right? The only real money he had was the equity in his house. And then he needed to sell it because he needed to move north. And most of the equity was gone of the house. I was so angry. Yeah. And Mike got in there and we were able to, help him out. We couldn't file the complaint. We almost tried to break the contract on the last refi, but he made too many payments or something by then and we couldn't get him out of the contract. So the whole thing was really crappy. So don't be taken advantage of like that. Those big national companies, if you can do the refi, they're going to tell you, sure, do the refi. You're going to save the money. They're not going to sit there and say, hey, really? Do you want to take your 3 years left on your car payment and turn it into a 30-year payment? Do you really want to do that? They're not going to ask those kind of questions. So get the real deal.
I'm looking at a potential refi right now, which actually is connected to a success story with Ross, or potential success story. We'll talk about that. But they have in the past 3 years 2 FHA Streamlined Refinances. Right, so an FHA Streamlined Refinance is when you have an existing FHA loan and you go to a new FHA loan, and the reason they call it Streamlined is because there's no credit check, and basically if you have a good payment history, you're going to qualify for the new loan, right? So it's kind of like a low hassle, no hassle type thing. But there are still closing costs, right? There's still FHA, as a matter of fact, has an upfront mortgage insurance premium, right? They continue to have monthly mortgage insurance, and so usually you're refinancing out of FHA, right? Unless you just can't for some reason. But I see 2 of them in the past 3 years, and I didn't get the full story. I don't want to push too hard because I don't want to tell somebody holy cow, what did they talk you into? But that's an example of something I would just try to avoid. Why are you doing the first one? Maybe, right? Maybe you just can't qualify, or who knows what. But a second one, and you're eating into your equity every time you do that, presumably, right? You're increasing your principal balance on the new loan higher than the previous loan. So, some people won't talk you out of doing stuff like that. I probably would at least attempt to
try,
at least analyze it.
Yeah. Maybe not talk them out of it, but really lay it out. You sure this is what you want to do?
Yeah.
So just be super careful about that. You have all the resources at your fingertips. We're one phone call away, right, Johnny?
That's it. You can find the hotline at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com, or just know it well, 888-973-7828. You can call that 3 a.m. Literally 3 a.m. You're you know what? I'm doing the refi, or I got to check my property. I'm selling this house. I got it. Pick up the phone, 888-973-7828. We'll get that message, and we'll get back to you as soon as we get that message and get back to work. We're lining you up and getting you with the professionals you need at FloridaTalkRealEstate.com.
We're going to go ahead and plow through this break because I want to get into both the subjects that I promised that we were going to get to today, which is the first. If I get through both these subjects today, it's the first time I've ever told you everything that we talked about today at the beginning is actually going to be talked about.
Wow.
I know. So let's make it happen. Okay. So our next spooky story, besides interest rates, is home insurance horror stories, right? So I was reading an article in the Sentinel a couple of days ago, Ross, and October 24th. And the headline is, I'm sorry, hold on. Get ready to dig deeper. Despite reforms, insurers warn consumers that more rate hikes are coming. Oh my gosh. Now, so my first thing is, this is actually going to start affecting mortgages more and more and more. It's going to affect the prices of the homes and the ability to get the mortgage that you want for the house you want to buy. Because as these rates go up and up, that means that your purchasing power is going down and down. Just like what we say with mortgage rates, if they go up 1 point, a full point, the buyers lose 10% of their purchase power. Okay. Isn't it true, Mike, that if the the insurance payment isn't $250 a month, but it's $360 a month, I'm making up numbers here, that's going to affect the ability of the borrower to maximize what they could borrow to buy the house that they want, correct?
Absolutely. And I haven't done the math to know what kind of a purchasing power reduction it is, but I would my gut tells me it's that type of change is more than the interest rate change. Right, like that $150 swing or $100 swing is, or maybe it's equivalent. It's like right around that mark. But
and what are you guys seeing? I'm very interested in this because I haven't talked to you guys off the air about this. So it's really great to talk about insurance and see the mortgage perspective and the insurance perspective. So Ross, with the increases that you're seeing right now, are almost everybody, like if you were to have 10 customers come in for homeowners insurance, how many of those people are going to Citizens versus going to, out of 10, versus going to private insurers right now?
I mean, it really all depends on the year built, the year the house was built.
So let's say it's pre-1990.
Citizens, 100%, like 90%.
Okay, and then when does it get to be 90% for non-citizens? I'm assuming that's like 2019.
2015.
2015?
2016.
Oh, 5 years.
Yeah. I mean, so these extreme rate increases and where you're seeing the high rates is on the older homes. Just nobody wants to insure them just because of, they're scared about water damage, from older pipes and things like that. And then, of course, you've heard me talk about roof issues for probably a year now. Mm-hmm. I was on a call with a company that they're going to open up to a few agents in South Florida in the Tri-County area. And I thought they said that in Orlando area, they had $4.5 million in roof claims from a 20-minute hailstorm. But then somebody in my office said, no, they said 45 million in claims from a 20-minute hailstorm.
Wow.
And that's all, what those are public adjusters and roofers canvassing neighborhoods. That's just such a big issue right now. I see claims, I get emails like if somebody doesn't call me about a claim and they just file it with the carrier, I get an email, saying, okay, hey, we just got this claim info. And I'm seeing so many of them from April of this year that people are filing claims now. And that's just from, roofers going around and saying, hey, do you remember that hailstorm back in April? You're like, no. And you're like, I bet you have damage. Let's go get you a new roof.
And I think they outlawed that now, right? Isn't that part of the new regulations?
It was not allowed to do that? But then there was some sort of judicial stoppage or suspension or something like that, where that part of it isn't into effect yet. They're fighting it of some kind.
So how that works is the regulations passed, the people that don't like it sue, it's in limbo, but it's passed, but they can't enforce it right now.
Yeah.
They're probably going to argue freedom of speech or something like that, or something like that. They're probably going to argue something similar to that.
Yeah.
It's funny that you brought that up, though, Ross. And let me tell you, if you were going down this way or not, one of the biggest reasons why the insurers are telling the state be prepared for more hikes, the first thing they talk about is the amount of fraud. The amount of fraud that they feel is happening down here for this. Do you feel like that's, I'm kind of torn. Do you feel, if somebody had a damage to their house in April and they're not asking for anything until October, how bad is the damage?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, how bad can the damage be? I mean, if your roof was ripped off or if you had major leak, I don't think you'd be calling the insurance company 6 months later saying, I got a leak in my house.
Yeah.
So but at the same time, your stuff might have been damaged, right? And you have the right to have the replacement, right? Isn't that part of the insurance policy?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
the shady thing is, I mean, obviously you haven't had any issues, or else you would have called, April 12th, hey, hail damage, my roof is leaking. And, just because somebody goes on your roof and goes, hey, you got a couple dents, it's a tough situation. If you do have damage, yeah, of course you should be, compensated. But, with the amount of claims that are coming in, the insurance companies, it's almost like they don't even have enough manpower to investigate them and do it all. So they just keep, instead of getting sued, because that's what happens as soon as the claim is denied, then the people go ahead and sue the insurance company, and then they got to pay both sides of the legal fees. So they end up just paying it,
Yeah, this is, I actually think this is going to be one of the several different factors, and it's going to be unique to mostly Florida, where this is going to be another factor in why the market's going to start flattening out. And I think that we're already in that right now, but we might, it's not, the trend hasn't been long enough to say, hey, we're in a flat or a declining market. But we're getting there because we've had 4 months now where we've either been flat or down the month. This is for single family home sales, or down the month from the month before. So I don't know how that's going to, if the interest rates continue to rise, that will be one factor. And then I think the insurance is going to be another factor. I think it's going to be a double whammy on the buyer, because buyers right now, Ross, let's talk about that for a second, and through Mike's perspective too. When you're out buying a house now that's less than 5 years old, what do you got to think about? And I'm asking you guys, that isn't a rhetorical question. Like, what are the things that I should be thinking about as a buyer if I'm out there just trying to buy a used home right now?
Less than 5 years old or more?
Less than, older than 5 years.
Oh. I mean, yeah.
Because that's most of the houses you're going to find on the open market.
I just love that that's now the definition of of older. But I think I'm with you, Jim. We talked about that, I think, last week, where, what is going to cause inventory to increase, right? Because that's ultimately what is going to cause prices to level off or even cool off slightly, is when the inventory starts increasing. It's just not such a frothy seller's market. And so, yeah, interest rates will bring down the purchasing power of buyers. So your buyer pool at a certain price point, just it thins out. Insurance is going to be the exact same thing, right? Insurance, once it gets to a certain level, the buyers that are available at a certain price point are going to thin out, and so inventory is going to increase, and therefore you're going to have price cooling. And we talked about, like, for the buyers, it's kind of like 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, right? Like they're buying, the prices come down, but they end up with the same mortgage obligation that they had when the prices were up. Sellers are the ones who are getting, taking the brunt of that loss of price point, of purchasing power.
And Ross, what we're doing now is any house that we think is a little old, we're recommending that the we're recommending that the sellers sometime do a wind mitigation report just to see what's going to happen, let's say, about the roof, right? Like how many years are left for the useful life of the roof? That's a big deal right now. Is that correct?
Kind of.
Okay, well, tell me about that then.
Well, so, if it's an older home, 99% of the time it's going to be Citizens. If it's an older home, older than 1990, there are a couple carriers that will offer coverage, but most of the time it's going to be Citizens. And Citizens will accept, any roof, like a shingle roof up to 20 years. Once it's over 20 years, that's when they really care about the useful life. So as long as we're, they care at least if there's at least 3 years of useful life. So that's what they're looking for in all the homes.
Now, one of the things that just happened to us recently, we went out and had a company come out to do a wind mit to figure out useful life left on the roof. And they gave us the report, and they felt that there was 4 or 5 years left on the roof, but it was put into the seller's name because the seller paid for the wind mit.
Yeah.
But it wasn't transferable to the new buyers. Is there a way that you can do it? Do you know of companies that will give you the report of what they think without trying to sway them? I'm not trying to sway, what they say. I just want to be able, as a listing agent, to do a wind mit to find out what I'm up against, and then be able to transfer that over to the buyer to save the buyer a benefit of having to pay for another wind mit. Is there any way to go about doing it that way?
I mean, if the inspector will do it for you.
And do you think there's anything unethical about an inspector doing that? Because the inspector, I was very surprised that the inspector didn't want to do that. Like, he wanted another fee to do it again. And I'm like, come on, really?
Is he going to go back out and do the exact same thing a week later, or is he just charging the fee to change the name? If he's going to go back out and spend his time, then that justifies the fee. Mm-hmm. But I mean, ultimately it's up to the inspector.
Okay.
Some of the carriers will notice, like, oh, this isn't in the wind mitigation report, isn't in this person's name. Citizens is very sticky about it. Mm-hmm. So they will notice, like, even if your name is, I don't know, you call yourself MJ Rauch, and that's what the wind mit says, but the insurance policy is under Michael James Rauch, then if the wind mit says MJ Rauch, they're going to want that changed to Michael James.
Okay.
So they're very sticky on it. So, okay. But some carriers will, they'll just, as long as there's a wind mitigation report with that property, a lot of the time they're okay.
Okay. I was wondering about that. What are the biggest issues that you're finding out, Ross, from your perspective, when buyers are in contract, right? They go into contract with their, the agent finds them the house, they're in contract, they're excited, they're ready to bind the insurance policy. What are the biggest hiccups that you're seeing when that happens? Surprise moment for the buyer. What are the most common surprise moments? Like, what issues are the surprise moments there?
I mean, as long as we, whenever anybody asks us for an initial quote, we always send it right back to you and tell you what inspections we need. So as long as we have those inspections prior to somebody actually going, closing the following day and saying, hey, I need insurance, I'm sending you my inspections now. We get those up front. And then once we get those inspections, if there are any issues, we point them out right away. Hey, there's missing or empty breaker sockets in the electrical panel, you got to have those fixed. So as long as we get those inspections, right after we send the quotes, or with enough time, or when you're in that inspection period of the contract, there shouldn't really be any surprises, at the end.
So Mike, go ahead, Mike, because I have a question for you about that. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to raise my hand. I think probably the biggest surprise is when people get a quote that is sometimes way more than anybody talked to them about initially. Like, in preparing them for numbers, I'm talking about my position, right? The loan originator has to put an estimate in there initially, like, okay, here's what we think your payment's going to be. That includes part of that is the insurance number, and so you have to be with the times, right? You got to be in my position, looking at the homes that they're potentially making an offer on and figuring out the age of the home, looking at the windows the best you can, like how old's the roof. I love it, Jim, when listing agents have done that work beforehand, right? Like here we got a wind mitt, we got real insurance quotes. Here's what you can expect. Why don't all listing agents do that? I don't know. Maybe too much information, but holy cow, don't you want your thing to close?
You want to hear the funny part about that? A lot of times the realtors don't appreciate what we did. And that's an extra effort thing I feel that our team does, that we ask every time we get a listing, we do the insurance bindable insurance quotes basically through Ross. And we're not trying to sway anything, because we're trying to find out real numbers so that we can make sure that our buyer can finance the deal.
Absolutely.
That's why we're doing that, right?
And how many times, it's not every time, but how many times are we talking to Ross about homes, about potential issues we see as it relates to insurance? And I think back to the log cabin home, right? Like that one. Think back to the one we just closed a month or two ago, where they were doing the for sale by owner on the purchase, right? And we knew that roof was nearing the end of its useful life. And Ross actually came through on that pretty stellarly, right? Ross, you were able to get them some sort of conditional policy, knowing that their roof was going on within the first 30 or 45 days or whatever. So. Right. I also have a very recent potential success story with Ross. I don't want to run out of time to talk about that.
Yeah, so the other thing related to all that is, when do you think, Mike, when do you think the agent, what part of the process should they start talking to the insurance company if they're the buyer? Let's say they don't have a listing agent like us that does the extra effort. When should the buyer's agent start talking to the insurance company? Wait for the inspection and appraisal, then do it? Should you do it, at what point?
Ross can correct me, but we always try to provide him all of the information he needs to give an accurate quote, right? So we're talking about appraisal, inspections, and then funnily enough, he needs information on the buyers as well, right? He's got to do a little bit of make sure they don't have any red flags in their history, I guess. But so I feel like getting an accurate quote is important. So I like to have appraisal and inspections.
Okay,
but also, so as soon as that house goes under contract, rather than spend, $1,000 on inspections, find out, hey, if it's a 1955 house, if the insurance is going to be $4,500 or something like that, and you're not going to qualify, don't even go through the inspection.
Yeah.
Because we're going to quote with what we normally see on wind mitigation reports. It could come back a little better, better if there's opening protection or hurricane shutters. But, it's going to be, if it's going to be up there, find out up front before you go out and spend $1,000 on inspections.
Yeah, I think, Jim, we're definitely cognizant of those potential insurance issues. I think when we're in the shopping process, like we're thinking about, I know I do for sure, any potential property, I'm looking at the listing, right? I'm looking at the age of the home. I'm trying, maybe even sometimes looking at permit stuff to kind of see when roofs were put on, if they did need windows and doors. It's not foolproof, but it's probably more than your average loan originator is going to do. It's probably more than your average agent is going to do.
Yeah, Mike gives me more information than we can find. He'll give me a little description of everything that's going on. Hey, Johnny.
Hey, there he is.
I was wondering if you were keeping the hat on with the ice pack or not, and now I have the answer.
I was going to say, Johnny, that's some major swelling on your forehead there.
Explains the ice pack, doesn't it?
I can't see the whole thing, but is that Wally World? No, it isn't
Yoshi.
Wally World, is it?
Yoshi.
Oh, Yoshi. Okay.
Jim's like, what's Yoshi? Jim, do you know what
Yoshi is? I
Yoshi
have no idea what Yoshi is, no.
Yoshi's from Mario.
From Mario Brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
From the gang, Donkey Kong?
Well, Yoshi's not in Donkey Kong, but Mario originated in Donkey Kong. And then
Yes.
when you got the Mario Brothers, the whole Nintendo world, Yoshi was one of the very popular characters.
I did not know that.
He's a little
Jim-
dinosaur. He's got the tongue comes up.
One of my favorite characters in Mario Kart.
Oh, me too. Yeah, I rock Yoshi all the time.
I was going to say Jim just probably blew a lot of people's mind by linking Mario with Donkey Kong. I don't know how common knowledge that is.
Oh yeah, because that's all I know.
Yeah, that's all he knew.
Yeah.
The very first version of
Mario. That's
Donkey
the only
Kong.
thing that exists in my world,
Right.
1980s video world.
Jimmy D was a gamer. He killed Pong.
Hell yeah! Didn't you love it where you can adjust the screen where you could just keep the paddle in one spot and it'll just keep going over and over like a loop? Do you even know what I'm talking about? Does
Oh, yeah.
anybody know what I'm talking about right now?
Totally.
Oh, okay.
I'm picturing Jimmy D in the arcade, some really tight like Jordache jeans on. He's got the comb in his back pocket. He's got his quarters stacked up. Like that just all went through my mind.
And it was over by
Cigarettes rolled up in his sleeve.
It was at the golf cart, the go-kart racing thing down in Fort Lauderdale. And they had all the best games, and they had the boxing game. They had this awesome boxing game. I don't remember what it's called. But I didn't have I might have had the comb in the pocket, but it wasn't Jordache. It was always Levi's because I didn't like Jordache people, right? But I think I might have had the comb. I might have had the comb in the pocket. I might have had that. I think.
Hey, all right, listen.
Sneaks on, smell like your high tops.
Okay, I only got 3 minutes, so I gotta do the last segment, or I'm gonna screw up.
Hey.
And I want to get the whole thing done. You guys just screw me up here.
Just real quick, raw success story: 12,000 to 4,000. Okay, there you go. That's it. And
Okay.
only $8,000 a year savings.
So Zillow. Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah, we're gonna start off with Zillow. Okay, I'm gonna finish this. I think I got 3 minutes. Okay. So with Zillow, they've been doing a thing called an iBuying program. Keller Williams has it too, where there's another company called Open Door and Redfin, and they just give you these blind offers on your property, and then they give you a price that looks really, really good, and then they charge what they call service fees. And then the service fees are automatically, they're going to take a credit automatically without even seeing your house for repairs. And then they have these other garbage fees. And by the time you're done, the average person that goes to one of those iBuyer programs, including the Keller Williams one, you're going to make about 9% less than if you hired an agent, right? And this has been pretty much the standard. So across the country, the average real estate commission is roughly 5 or 6%. If you're losing 9%, you could have hired an agent and made more money. Some people feel it's not worth going through all that, but these companies aren't buying, we buy ugly houses, or we buy ugly houses fast for cash. These are not those type of companies. If your house is in too much disrepair, or it's not in the right neighborhood, or other factors that they use, they won't buy your house, right? So they're not just going to buy anything. They only want to buy houses they can turn over with very little repairs and turn it over. Well,
So they're essentially flipping the houses, Jim?
Oh, well, that's what's happening. So remember AJ Hallman, the appraiser that was on our show the last couple times, who's an awesome guy?
Yeah.
He and some other appraisers are been talking nationally, because AJ's on all those groups, where they're actually thinking that Zillow is actually trying to control the market in certain neighborhoods. And they used an example, not AJ specifically, but the national appraisers have this on the radar. And in one neighborhood, they control like 150 houses in one neighborhood. And what they're trying to do is increase the prices continually. They're trying to corner the market, just like any commodity, and trying to raise the prices unrealistically high in those neighborhoods. Well, and now people are thinking that it's becoming too much of an antitrust thing. So now there's talk about that. But Zillow just announced this week, we're out of the iBuying program. We're taking a break. Why? The average 62% of the homes that they're selling. Now, this is Zillow with the Zestimate people, right? They're selling 6% below what they paid for the house. 62% of the homes they bought, they're selling for 6% less than what they paid for. Now, look, this isn't some kind of crazy accounting thing. this is Zillow screwing up and that they overbought all these properties. Now, why do they say that they did that? First, they're saying that they're really not taking the break because they overpaid. They're taking a break because they can't get enough contractors to come in to fix up the houses. In my opinion, that's a bunch of bull. What I think they did is they were trying to predict the market like a stock market. They're treating the real estate market like a stock market. So they're saying, hey, prices are rising, and we believe they're going to continue to rise. So we're going to beat out the competition by offering more than the current market value because we know the prices are going to go up anyway, right?
I like to think it's more of just a basic math error, Jim. They just forgot to carry the one somewhere in one of their formulas.
Well, we're going to get into more on it next week because we will be having the show next week because I guess the Gators don't suck that bad. Johnny.
That's better. I like that better.
Yeah, better than last week. The Gators suck. No, they don't suck that bad.
Yeah, go Gators.
So anyway, I hope you guys have a happy Halloween, Johnny. I hope that your ice pack goes away for the weekend and have a ton of fun with your daughter. I'm sure this is the holiday for your daughter.
Oh, it's her weekend, no doubt about it.
And
and I hope everybody out there has a great Halloween. Be safe if you're out there and about there. If you're staying home, get some candy for the little kiddos. You may have some trick-or-treaters. Take care of them. And remember, if you're not into that, leave the lights off. They won't knock on your door. It's that simple. Thank you for being with us every Saturday, 2 hours of infotainment. Remember, Florida Talk Real Estate is a .com. It's your one-stop real estate shop. Access to the entire team. We're going to be back at it next Saturday at 9 a.m. And as always, you got Greek and Jimothy and Joe. They're going to take over from here, lead you up into the Gators and Georgia. Man, that's a big rivalry game. You'll hear that as well. All of it right here. Thanks for being with us. Once again, have a great Halloween. It's Real Radio.